Welcome to video T3A on present value. As mentioned in the previous video and on the Blackboard site, if you lack an understanding of basic time value of money concepts, you may want to watch the Khan Academy videos posted on the Blackboard site. This video deviates a little bit from the topic of taxes as we focus on the finance fundamentals necessary to move forward in tax planning, but at least it's a short one. We start by reminding ourselves of the definition of a tax: a compulsory payment to the government for which you receive no direct benefit. Come to think of it, when you put it that way, I see why everyone hates taxes. Why not just say an enforced exaction of my wealth with no conceivable purpose? But I digress. Given that you have to pay the tax, would you rather pay it today or, let's say, 5 years from now? Aside from maybe not having the money today, which is a different issue altogether, and why we have ability to pay as part of our good tax regime. But again, I digress. Most of us understand that $1 today is not worth $1 in the future. What? What did I just say? $1 is not worth $1? That's crazy. $1 is always worth $1. It's just that $1 today can buy a certain set of goods and services. But that same dollar in the future may only be able to buy less goods and fewer services. That is the notion of present value, and why the present value of $1 is actually generally worth less than $1 in my pocket today. You can see how the purchasing power of $1 changes over time by comparing the cost of a home or a car in US dollars between the years 1975 and 2015. Can you imagine buying a new car for only $3,800? How about a gallon of gas for 59 cents? Positive inflation rates cause the purchasing power of currency to go down over time. Given that's the case, I'd rather pay my tax debts with future dollars than today's dollars. Today's dollars are worth more. In almost all cases, we would prefer our cash inflows to be larger and our cash outflows to be smaller. If this is a concept you cannot agree with, I have some swampland in southern Florida I'd like to sell you. And by the way, it's in Lake County, not Osceola. Again, another digression. I apologize. Given that inflation has been positive more or less since the beginning of time, we would generally prefer our inflows today and our outflows in the future. And recall that our after-tax cash flows are a function of our pre-tax cash flows minus tax. Okay, let's watch the time value of money have an impact on taxes. I received my property tax bill late in the calendar year. Property taxes are deductible, and I am a cash basis taxpayer, so the timing of when I pay that bill will affect the year in which I take the deduction. If I pay it this year on December 31st, I deduct it this year. If I pay it next year on January 2nd, because I'm taking the first off to watch football and recover, I deduct it next year. Because the bill arrived late in the year, by simply deferring its payment a day or two over the year end, I can change an entire year of tax liability. Yep, this can really happen. Okay, so a $100 deduction generates tax savings of $30. So the net after-tax cost is $70. If I pay it today, it's $70. And if I pay it next year, it's $70. Or is it? We need to consider the present value of the tax savings generated in option 2, which was pay next year. I will not benefit from that tax deduction and thus lower my tax liability for a whole year if I just wait a couple days. Thus, the present value of that $30 of tax savings is not $30 in today's dollars. It's actually only $28.57 at a discount rate of 5%. As a result, the after-tax cash flow is $71.43. And since I always prefer smaller cash outflows, I pay it today and go with the $70. And that's how time value of money can affect taxes. Now, a couple of very important assumptions. The first is my discount rate. We never really know what that is, but it's almost always a positive amount. and so the conclusion is unlikely to change, just the amount. The second is the assumption that tax rates will not change. That is not something we can guarantee most of the time. Thus, the certainty we spoke about when we discussed the characteristics of a good tax under efficiency is so important for tax planning. If the tax rate changes to 35% next year, then suddenly the tax savings generated from the deduction is 35, not 30, as we expected. Now the present value of tax savings is $33, and we should have deferred the deduction by paying it next year. Typically, we use the marginal tax rate when preparing these types of forecasts. But we also know from our visits with Manny and Luke that big swings in income warrant caution and perhaps a more accurate marginal tax rate calculation. Okay, that's it for present value and taxes. We're going to use these concepts further as we work through tax planning, including timing, which we visit in the next video, and again in Chapter 4 in Module 2. So be sure and get a complete understanding of these concepts before moving too far along. Thanks for watching.